and welcome back to In My Compliance Era. My name is Bridget, and I will be your host for this episode. Today's topic is called the cost of control, and we will be talking and discussing the price of birth control and its impact on our compliance. And if you have been following along and maybe listening to my previous episodes, you're pretty familiar with my birth control journey and how I started off on progesterone-only birth control, also called the mini pill, and I found out that this was not the right fit for me. And then I found my wonderful combination pill, and I'm currently taking it. It's called Loloestrin Phe, and it has worked really well for me. And I have now been taking this specific combination pill for almost 4 years now. So she's worked really well for me, and it has never been an issue getting my birth control until my dad actually recently just got a new job, and he now works for a Catholic hospital. And this hospital actually does not support oral contraception in their, or actually just contraception in general, in their insurance. And this was a really harsh reality for me because I really didn't have a good first go around with my birth control. And now I finally found something that was working for me, and that was huge. But I was actually at work one day and I texted my mom and I was like, hey, I can't really pick up my birth control right now. Is there any way that you can run and grab it for me? And to kind of put it in perspective, my birth control previously was about $25 every month. So it really was pretty affordable for me, at least. And my mother went to go and pick my birth control up, and it must have been right when my old insurance stopped working and in between the time of my new insurance beginning to work. So I currently had no insurance covering the cost of my birth control at this time and didn't really know it. So when she went to go and pick it up, it was over $600. And my mother actually called my insurance, or new one, and found out that one, they don't cover the cost of birth control in general, and two, the insurance actually hadn't kicked in yet at that time. So my mother called me at work and was like, what the heck? What, $600? I'm not paying for that. And I was like, rightfully so. This is kind of crazy. And unfortunately, Loloestrin does not have an exact generic brand that matches the hormone of Loloestrin. So that worried me because if I, couldn't afford this brand name, then I'm going to have to use its, quote unquote generic brand name that's not actually the same hormonal makeup as the pill that I finally found worked for me. So that was really hard for me to kind of accept that maybe I might have to either stop taking birth control because this is the only thing that I have found that has worked for me, or I might have to take a completely different pill, which I haven't really had the best luck in the past with that. So that was hard for me to kind of accept because I had finally found out, what works for me, and now it's too expensive for me to take anymore. And in the meantime of this happening, I was not able to take my pill because I didn't want to pay that amount of money for one pack when I usually only pay $25 a month. And my mother actually helped me because I had no idea what to do, honestly. Our previous insurance covered everything, so this was very new to me. All I had to do before was go to the pharmacy, give them my name, and they gave me my pills. So she actually called the company Loloestrin, and they gave her a coupon for my pill, and this halved the cost. But still paying $300+ a month for birth control is not feasible. At least it wasn't for me. And she then used GoodRx, which is a company that tracks prescription drug prices in the United States, and it provides drug coupons for discounts on medications. And she uses coupon on top of the one from Loloestrin, and was able to make the cost $30. So, whew, right? It all ended up working out in the end, which was awesome, but was definitely really hard in the meantime, not being protected, one, and then having to get used to the hormones then 3 weeks later after actually starting up on the birth control again. But all in all, with that story, I was so lucky that she was able to do this for me, but I kind of looked back on it and I was like, I have no idea what I would have done if I was on my own in that situation. And this whole experience made me think how expensive birth control is and how much it costs when it's not covered by insurance. And I also know that different insurances cover different medications or different portions of them, and some women may not even have insurance. So what do we do then? And it made me wonder how much these costs affect women's usage of birth control, because I know that it definitely would have affected me if I had to pay $600 for my pills every month. And one of my really good friends from high school, his mother is actually a pharmacy manager at CVS. And I actually sent her a list of some of the most common birth control pills. And some of this list came from a Google search of the most common birth control pills in the US, but also from a quick survey of some of the female nursing students in my nursing class, actually. I looked around and I asked, hey, what are you taking? What are you taking? What are you taking? So we have a good variety here. And the list begins with Junelle Fee. It is $27.99, and this is the raw cash prices of these birth controls. So this is without any insurance or anything added onto them. Then we have Sprintec, which was $26.99. Loloestrin, which is mine, is $112.99. Pretty nuts. And Microgestin fee, $27.99. Avian, $30.99. Xulane, $87.99. Haley fee, $84.99. And Vienva is $30.99. And kind of looking back on this list, some of these seem relatively affordable, like the $26.99 Sprintec. That's the, quote unquote, cheapest option on this list. However, if you were to purchase this every month, it is a total of $323.88 per year. And looking at this from a college student perspective, I'm in nursing school right now, and I'm not really able to work as often as I would like to, with classes and clinicals taking up the majority of my time. I was also a student athlete, and I would not be able to afford $112.99 a month for my birth control on my own. I wouldn't really even be able to afford the $323 if I wasn't able to work in the spring, which I am, thank God. But I wouldn't be able to do that during my fall season of volleyball with nursing classes and all that good stuff. So I'm sure that somebody else is in the same boat as me. And I honestly would 100% just stop taking it. Like, I would probably just really be smart with what I was doing. And that shouldn't be the option. Like, that shouldn't be the reason that people have to stop taking birth control. All birth control should be accessible, and it should be seen as something that's very important to women in our autonomy. And it seems by some of the research that this is a real experience that women in college have. And in the very beginning journey of me doing my research, I actually found this article, and it's called Concerns About the Cost of Contraception Among Young Women. And it discusses community college students having a lower usage rate with contraception in comparison to four-year college students. And it's believed to be because of financial barriers to accessing contraception. And the study examined insurance coverage, access to free or low-cost birth control, and concerns about contraceptive costs among women in community college. And what they actually found through their study was that 49%, so nearly half of these women, were concerned about the cost of their contraception. And privately insured women had lower odds of being concerned about the cost of their birth control, which makes sense. And it said, which really kind of stuck out to me, and it was, quote, women who reported they knew where to get free or low-cost birth control had lower odds of reporting cost concerns, end quote. And I want to change that, because there are so many options and resources that I have found from doing the research for this podcast that women should never have to feel like they have to stop taking contraception because they don't have the funding for it, because there are so many options and resources for affordable birth control. And what are they? Let's kind of get into that. Let's delve into this. And the first one that I found was actually Walmart. Walmart's pharmacy actually carries a lot of very affordable birth control options. So they have norethindrone, they have the Sprintec that we were talking about, Sprintec, and they have those pills. And they're $9 for one pack, and they are $24 for 3 packs. And you can also use the Walmart store finder link to find a Walmart near you as well. And all of the information that I'm telling you guys is actually going to be in the description below, in the show notes, or what, would normally be in the show notes of a podcast. This is YouTube, so it'll be in the description below. And all the links and the websites that you will need from this podcast will be there. So please go and take a little deep dive and take a look at the information there if you ever need to look back on this and actually use this stuff. So that's just my little disclaimer. But anyways, so Walmart is actually a really great option, and you can use the store finder and find one that's near you and go to their pharmacy and get low-cost birth control from them. And then we also have the website GoodRx. And I actually discussed this earlier that I have personally used this, and it was wonderful when our health insurance no longer covered my pill of choice. And this website helps people search medication brands, and it shows the prices and coupons that are available at different pharmacies. And basically, you just type in the prescribed drug that you have, and it will possibly pop up with coupons that you can check for eligibility. For me, when I type in my birth control, which is low estrogen fee, it comes up with this screen that says you may pay as little as $25 per 1 month or 3-month prescription refill. And it says check eligibility, and then you kind of check eligibility, and it'll come up with another screen, and it'll describe what pharmacies that it applies to and what where it's accepted near you as well. And in my case, it also provides information on my pills manufacturer and their coupons as well and what they offer. So it provides links to their website to get more information, which is awesome. So that's even more money that you can get taken off, which is great. And another website, which I have actually talked about in a previous episode, it's called Free the Pill. And I raved about them when I was discussing the difference between the combination pill and the mini pill in terms of symptoms and uses and what to do when you miss a pill, all that good stuff. So they have tons and tons of information on this website, and not just in terms of insurance and resources and to get affordable birth control. So they're a great website for not only this, but for so many other things. And they also offer lower cost contraceptions and even provides pills for people who do not have a prescription. And this website was actually recommended to me by Kelly Palm, one of my content experts that I talked about in the Origin of Oral Contraception episode. And the link for this specific website is below in the description. So if you're interested and you just want to take a look around, you can totally just go down to the description and take a peek at it. But this website actually provides a full breakdown of different websites that are able to prescribe pills and prescribe low-cost birth control. This website actually tells you where you can get birth control online, birth control pills online. And they basically wanted to do this because the popularity of online prescribing shows that people are eager to access their birth control in new ways and with fewer obstacles. And this is just one of the ways that they're able to make another resource for people to have online access now, not only just in person, but also online access to oral contraception. And they provide different websites that allow you to get pills online. So just looking at this right now, and like I said, the link is in the description below. So Alpha Medical, Blink Health, Favor, Hey Doctor by GoodRx, which we actually just talked about, and they have Virtuel. And if you go down and you look at the different drop boxes on these websites, it shows you the ages that they provide this for, the locations in which they provide this for, what membership plans do they have available, and consultation visits, the fees for that, insurance coverages, do they cover government issued insurances, all that good stuff. So they're really well described and laid out for people using this. And I honestly just also love the message that they have on Free the Pill. It says that their goal is for women to have freedom to make decisions about our bodies and lives with dignity and respect, and free from barrier and stigma, which to me is super important because I believe that all women should have access to birth control and should feel comfortable talking about it and making that the best decision that they can in regards to choosing a birth control that is right for them. And whether that be physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially affordable, all of those things I feel like are really important to having a good birth control that you feel good using and feel good about taking. And I think that they're very much on the same page, at least as me, going through this podcast and having the same wants and needs for women. So they're a wonderful website and they have a great goal. And another great resource is Planned Parenthood. And I know I have already raved about them in my previous episode if you've been following along, but it's honestly because they just have so much information regarding the pill, and their website is also really easy to navigate. And you can also set up an appointment for an in-person or telehealth appointment if you would like one, or in most states, you can even get birth control pills prescribed by mail using the Planned Parenthood Direct app, which is awesome when you may not have time in your busy day to make your way to a Planned Parenthood. And they also have, similar to the Walmart location finder, they have a Planned Parenthood location finder in case you did want to meet face-to-face with someone, and you can find a location that is near you. Just by typing your zip code in the little search engine, it'll pop up and hopefully make your life really easy, and you can go right down the street to a Planned Parenthood or however close and make an appointment for your birth control. So that's great. In terms of pricing, it varies in terms of whether you have health insurance or if you qualified for Medicaid or other government programs that cover the cost of birth control pills. But for most brands, one pill pack lasts for 1 month, and each pack can cost anywhere from $0 to $50, and they can also be totally free with most health insurance plans, or if you qualify for some government programs. But let's say you wanted to get free pills, how do we go about that? Well, Planned Parenthood has your back. They break it down really nicely on their website, saying that there's a good chance you can get low-cost or free birth control pills if you have health insurance. And because of the Affordable Care Act, most insurance plans must cover all methods of birth control at no cost to you, including the pill. Unfortunately, I did not have that luxury, but some plans only cover certain brands of pills or generic versions, aka mine. And this was the issue that I had, and I could have started a new pill and didn't want to because, we all know my track record and that I know I finally have something that works for me. But for some birth controls, the generic is the exact same hormonal makeup as their brand name pill, and this can really work for some people. And your health insurance provider can tell you which types of birth control they pay for, and your doctor may also be able to help you get the birth control you want covered by health insurance. And kind of looking at the other side of things, like what if we don't have any health insurance, right? If you don't have any insurance, you still have options. And depending on your income and legal status in the U.S., you could qualify for Medicaid or other government programs that can help you pay for birth control and other health care. And most Planned Parenthood health centers accept Medicaid and other health insurances, and many charge less depending on your income as well. Going off of that, they actually have what's called a sliding scale at Planned Parenthood. So they take what you have for a monthly income per family size, and they use that to make your visits more affordable for the income that you are taking in. So they definitely listen to their patients, and they want to make sure that you are able to get the care that you need to, no matter their financial situation. And lastly on my list here, I have this place called Tapestry Health, and it is a community-based health reduction program that has been growing for over 50 years, and it provides services to almost 20,000 Western Mass residents each year. And they also serve over 26,000 residents annually in Springfield, Holyoke, Chicopee, Northampton, Greenfield, Westfield, North Adams, Pittsfield. And they're also able to access surrounding communities through their mobile outreach van, which I'll get into in about a second. But Tapestry has sexual and reproductive health care. It also has food access and family nutrition, and it is also a harm reduction program. And this is all available to all of its users, which is awesome. I was actually able to interview a nurse practitioner at Tapestry. Her name is Elisa Gabai, and she was able to break down all the different resources that Tapestry offers their patients and their clients. And they have two different offices, the harm reduction and the sexual reproduction office. And they have clinicians for both offices, and they expanded to offer harm reduction actually from the sexual reproduction building. And really quickly, they offer clean supplies, they do needle exchange, they do harm reduction teaching and wound care, which is amazing. And they also, in their mobile outreach vans, they have a room in the van for a full exam table. So they're able to do IUDs, they're able to do the depot shots in the van, they're able to do pap smears in the van, breast exams, they are able to prescribe pills and NuvaRings. They can all do this from the mobile outreach van. So that's amazing. If you can't make it to Tapestry because maybe you don't own a car, maybe you're not able to get there, or maybe you are super, super busy and it would be better if they came to you, they have your back. They have a mobile outreach van with a full exam table. Like, that's awesome. I've never heard of something like that. So that's really cool. And they're also able to do bedside ultrasounds there. And in terms of their actual office, they have been doing telehealth visits since COVID. So that's an option if you don't have time in your day to go in person, to have a in-person visit. And they also have clinicians that have set days that only do telehealth. So you will have someone that can talk to you that day on telehealth and make an appointment, which is great. They are also able to prescribe pills and other contraception as well in office, and they can give the depot shots, like I had said, which is also just another form of birth control. And they also want to check in on screening. So if you did come in, they want to make sure that if they did give you an IUD, that you come back and they want to check your blood pressure, and they want to check to make sure that you're doing well with this birth control, that especially if you have like hypertension, if you have high blood pressure, or if you are a diabetic, or who knows, that they want to make sure that you are doing well with your birth control, that you are your IUD is in the right spot still, or your implant is doing fine and it's not, your insertion site isn't infected, all that good stuff. They want to make sure that you come back for a screening to make sure that everything is doing okay, which I think is great and people should be doing more often. You also don't necessarily have to have an underlying condition to have something like that go wrong. I'm just saying that a lot of times with people that have histories like that, you can have a higher risk of complications happening. But even just with myself, I wish that I kind of came back in a few weeks and kind of told them how I was feeling with being on the implant, and I didn't really have that option. So I think that's great that they're doing that. And Elisa had actually said that the majority of her patients that she sees have Mass Health, and they see people who have no insurance at all as well, and they actually don't require insurance or parental consent at all, and it is completely confidential at Tapestry, which is awesome. And they use funding from the public health to cover the cost. Yes, so they still do a sliding scale, but they're actually able, if need be, to cover the full cost of the visit if they have to. And especially if you're under parents' insurance and maybe you don't want them to know, this is a great way for you to get contraception for free or for a very affordable cost. And their parents don't have to know, especially if they don't accept you being on birth control, or whatever reason they don't want you to be on it, right? So, but Tapestry is actually able to supply the birth control in the office same day. And they actually offer this thing that's called the same day LARC start, LARC start. Let's say that you wanted to get a long-acting reversible contraception, so like an IUD or the implant. You can make an appointment to get seen for this and get it implanted in the same day, which is awesome. So Elisa was saying that they actually found that when they sent people home, let's say they came in and they did a little consultation and they talked about it, and then they sent them home and said, come back on next Thursday and we'll get it put in. They found that women typically did not come back to get their birth control. So it actually created this barrier that maybe they were available this week, but they're not available next week. And then they probably just kind of pushed it off and brushed it off. And it was like, I'll just get it the next week, or I'll go back this week, or whatever. Now I have to get a new consultation. So now they just do it all on the same day, and it actually decreases that barrier, which is great. And Tapestry also has a million other resources in terms of emergency contraception and different kinds of STI, STD testing, HIV, all that good stuff. So there's so much on their website, and it is so well written and laid out and really easy to use and user-friendly. So I will definitely link that below if you are interested and are looking to go there for your birth control, or just kind of want to take a peek around, or maybe you want to volunteer there. But overall, I hope that I was able to give you some resources that you can use in case that you have a similar situation to me, or maybe you are paying a lot of money for your birth control right now and you don't want to be. So I hope that this stuff is useful for you, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.